Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fade, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. 5 beats, 5 reviews. That's what I got coming up. And before we get into that, first of all, we have the Warzone going on in a couple days here this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and that is the 21st and 22nd. So make sure if you want to get in, there's only 16 spots. So if you want to get in, it's tricky because it's first come, first serve. I know some people can't get in, but that's just unfortunately that's just a side effect of it. Because it's a bracket style. So anyway, so try your best to get in and then battle it out. All right, so first up we've got these beats with bands to bungee cords. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was these beats with bands to bungee cords. All right, so this is a really dope beat. I like this. You have a really nice build up to the whole track. That's what I like about it. The drums are solid, although the snare, maybe it's just me, but it sounds like it's more to the left. So I don't know if that's intentional or not, but you might want to check that. I'm not crazy about those snares though. I mean, I understand that's the style or whatever, but I don't know. I just don't like those snares. When I've heard those types of snares, when I'm trying to load up a snare for myself or my own project, if I do use something like that, I always try to EQ it or lay it or something like that, because on its own like that, those, I don't know. I mean, it's like the hand clap stuff, right? Like you hear a lot of the snares, the hand claps now, and it's okay. I understand that's the style that people are using and all that, but I don't know. That's just not my flavor. But anyway, it's good, and the whole track is good, and I like the bass. It's good, but the main thing is the build up. That was what was good about it. I mean, it was a little predictable in a way, because when I was thinking, some strings should come in and whatever, and all of a sudden it did, but it does fit very well. Everything's very melodic and everything. I would like to have heard more of a breakdown. I know you did that towards the end, but I would like to have heard something like without the drums, you know what I mean? Like, because it's such nice music, so it would have been nice to hear just like the music on its own or whatever. But for what you did, it's really dope. I like it. But the main thing is that snare. I mean, it's tough to get a good snare sometimes. You don't want something that's always, too heavy, but you don't want it too light either, because, the rest of the music will drown it out, you know what I mean? So maybe try different snares. I don't know. But that's just me. But overall, it's a dope beat. I like it. And good job. So next up, we got No Nonsense Beats with Shuffle. Let's check it out. Alright. Okay, so that was No Nonsense Beats with Shuffle. This beat I really like. It's good. I mean, I like what you have with the keys. First of all, you have it, it's floating from left to right, but it's also in stereo. It's nice. Like, to me, that's what really makes that beat, is that it just gives, just that alone, it gives the beat a certain vibe. So I really like that style. Drums are on point and everything, bass and all that, and I think overall it's just a good atmosphere of the beat. I think my only issue is that because it's like a minimalist style beat or whatever, you could add some instruments to it. I mean, I don't recommend you do, really. I mean, you could leave everything the way it is, but I do hear a bit of piano, I think it was, coming in and out, and I would like to have heard that a little more, you know, because even though the beat sounds nice, it just kind of sounds empty in certain spots because of the way it is, you know, which is okay because, you know, you want to make room for an MC or whatever, but yeah, I mean, maybe have like some piano or some other kind of like synth lead or something to fit in there, just to kind of occupy the space a bit or whatever, you know, like not all the time, but just, you know, here and there or whatever. But just, I mean, just for the sake of seeing how it turns out or whatever, you know. But that's the problem, right? I mean, sometimes you're making a beat and it's like you don't want to overcook it, right? You don't want to do too much to it. So, but there's nothing wrong with experimenting and seeing what you can come up with, you know. But maybe some piano, I don't know, you know, either that or some kind of lead. But yeah, but it's a good beat. I like it. It's very smooth, and like I said, the main thing is that stereo shit. That was good because that really made the beat. So yeah. All right. So next up, we've got On and Calf with Dub Waves. Let's check it out. Alright. Okay, so that was On a Calf with Dub Waves. I'm pretty sure I heard this beat somewhere else before. It could have been one of the competitions. Like, I think it was, actually, you know what? I think it was in the Beat It Up competition, now that I think about it. I think that's where you had it or something. I don't know. I like this beat. I like it. It's just that I think you've been experimenting with a lot of the, you know, more electronic sounds and stuff, and that's cool, whatever, but you know, still, you got to remember it's you know, the hip-hop beat. You don't want to get out of control with it, but for what you do, it is good. I just think for me, with this beat, with that synth that you're using, you could use it, but to me, I would put it more in the background, more subtle, you know, and maybe bring it in louder on the hook or something like that. Because when you had the other synth come in on the snare, it came in on it. Well, not all the snares, but at one point it came in on the snare. I was like, oh, use that, you know, you should use that part, because that one, it sounded so nice, you know, like do something with that, but then you put it back in, you know, so I don't know, but for what you have, it's okay, but I would go with that other synth and use this in the background. because then when you had, I think it was about 45 seconds in, you had that little breakdown, and it was all like subtle and stuff, you know. I was like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. That's like, do that, and then have the synth on top of that smooth synth on top of that shit, and then you'll see, you know, a difference. Obviously, it'll give it a different vibe. But you know, you kept it going, whatever. You brought the other stuff back in. But yeah, try that smooth stuff, because it's just sounded nice. I just caught a little, you know, quick part of it, and I was like, oh, that's nice, but then you didn't keep it. But whatever. So, but yeah, so definitely keep that in the background. I would. But then again, you know, if that's the style you're going for, you're trying something different, then hey, go for it, whatever. But I wouldn't. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, maybe try the synth. Maybe try that smooth synth. It does sound nice. And the drums are on point, definitely on point. That was the thing that really stood out to me. Besides everything else, was the drums. The drums are nice and tight, and the drum patterns very, very good. So keep that going. And yeah, all right. So next up, we've got Soul City with 2018-0520-2. You gotta start naming these beats, man. Jeez. All right, check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Soul City with 2018-0520-2. Yeah, start naming those beats, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's a beautiful sample, of course. You know, made famous by Jay Dilla, and it's hard to outdo that. But still, for what you did, it's really dope. It's smooth. I like it. Drums are on point for sure. It matches up with the sample. I think there's a couple things though, like with the bass is a little heavy. I'm not gonna say too heavy, but a little heavy. And the sample itself, though, you know, it's great how you flipped it, how you chopped it, and everything. But it's just that it's just the sound of it. When I listen to it comparing to your drums, I just think the sample is like, it's very narrow sounding. It's like right down the middle. I'd like to hear the sample more spread out, more in stereo. You know what I mean? So there's a few options you could do for that. I'm sure you know what to do with that. But I mean, there's, you know, you could just basically use an effect as well to try to, you know, get like a stereo image of that sample and all that stuff. You know, not too much, but just a bit, just to widen it a bit, because that's the problem when using samples, right? I mean, sometimes it depends where it's coming from, what the source is. If it's vinyl, if it's off YouTube, whatever, or cassette, you know, it's going to be, you know, a different sound. I mean, and then you bring in these drums that are like, you know, hitting hard and they're in stereo and stuff. So of course it's not going to match up with the sample and stuff. So, but yeah, so just like some kind of stereo image of that sample, because then it would just make it sound so much smoother. Everything spread out like that, you know, because the way you did it, it's a very, very smooth flip that you did. So props on that. But yeah, I think it's just the actual sound of the sample that needs to be adjusted. But other than that, it's a dope beat, and I like it. All right, so next up we got the last beat. It's Show Crow with Blade Runner. Let's check it out. Alright. Okay, so that was Show Crow, Blade Runner. Now, I don't know if you sampled the Blade Runner movie or whatever, but it sounds like a sample to me. So the thing is, though, is that I love where you're going with it. It's just that I just think you need to mix it differently so that the drums are nice and gutter. I like that. You know, it matches up with the sample. It's just that I think the sample itself, I mean, well, I could be wrong. Maybe it's not a sample, but I think it is. Maybe let's say the sample. And I think the thing is that it just needs to be EQ'd. That's all it is. Because what you have, especially there's that one sample that you're using throughout at one point where it's very, very heavy. You know, so definitely EQ that. When I get samples like that, I EQ them right away. I take out a lot of the low end because it's just too heavy. Because I want to make room for a bass line. I like to make a bass line stuff. Even if you don't want to make a bass line, you could just copy that sample, that melody, and just, you know, make a bass line out of that, right? But kind of at the high end. But you definitely need the lead, right? The main guts of it to be just the cut out, right? So put a high pass filter or something like that. So that way you'll have a nice sounding sample, because it does sound good. It's just that you just need that, you know, thinned out. That way you can add a bass line underneath or whatever. So that's the only thing really, because the way you have it now, it's so heavy that it just sounds loud and messy. So that's all it is really, just to fix it up a bit, thin out the sample, and that way you make room for a bass line, and then you'd be good to go. Because I do like it. I do like the sound of it. So, but correct me if I'm wrong. It does sound like it's a sample from a movie. So yeah. But yeah, give it a shot and see how it turns out. Alright, so that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending your beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat is, the winner is, drum roll please, These Beats, Bands to Bungee Chords. Let's check it out.